Hey, hey, hey. How's everybody doing? It's your boy, the Prophet B. Kush. Red Flags, we here another night to talk about it. Anybody want to come in and get to the conversation? It's all right. Um, that's what I want. That's what we want. We want us to come in and talk and speak about some of those things. All right. Um, Welcome again, another night. It's your boy, the Prophet B. Kush. Red Flags. Come on, somebody. You know, if you feel it, you know, you want to ask a question, you want to, I don't know, chime in on something, your thoughts. Please do, our number 718-622-2674, 718-622-2674. All right, we want to make sure that we, got everybody chiming in as much as possible. It's Tuesday. Tuesday and Thursday, that's our hour where you got the power. Come on, somebody, to express what you feel, things that you see, things that are relevant to you in your life. Come on now. It's not all about me. It's not all about things that are happening, but what's happening with you. Come on, somebody. Yeah, I had to play that track today. Today was a bizarre day, and the truth is, for me, I just want to be happy. So it's okay. It's okay. I'm out today. I'm out and I'm out on the porch in front of my house, and relaxing and looking forward to this evening. All right. Here we are, here we are. And, I'm okay with that. I love being here with you in this time. Yes, we might hear some noises because I'm outside, but that's okay. 718-622-2674. Remember, Tuesdays, Thursdays, 10 to 11 is a space that we have. Come on, somebody. We can be picked up on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We got other channels too. But like I said, we're working through some things to get all those things to connect properly. So, here we go. Here we are. Tonight, I just want to talk to us about something that I think is definitely prevalent in our world, definitely prevalent in who we are, what we are. And the statement or the question is how dangerous it is to settle for love. Come on, somebody. How dangerous it is to settle for love. Something to think about. Something to really, really think about. I'm going to give my people some time, in case somebody wants to come in and just join us or, join the broadcast. How dangerous it is to settle for love. And you got to think about that, think about it, don't just let it pass through your head. Because there's, of course we think about the physical ramifications and we think about, the financial ramifications of settling for love and different aspects of life and where we are and who we are. But let's think about it, right? And know that there is an emotional tie and a mental tie, right? And a spiritual tie. And so it's bad for mental health for us long term when we settle for love. Can we talk about that? It's bad for us when we settle for love in the long term aspect, mental health wise, right? And then when we think about it emotionally, the emotional toll is beyond belief. That the things that are happening inside the heart, that are built up, that become resentment, that become hatred, toxic, is what the word is. And toxicity is what creeps into your heart and makes it really, really bad. And so we want to keep that in mind, how that looks. Come on, somebody. Yes, L. Blessings, brother, my cohort, brother L. Definitely watch your step. So there's the mental health aspect, there's the emotional toll, and then there's the spiritual part of it, right? Where we don't speak about that too much. Moving through our everyday, we kind of keep moving and act like it's not a part of the everyday, but it is. Our spiritual space within us, that does what it do, to make us live and allow us to enjoy certain things in different ways, becomes stifled. You spiritually become stifled, and that's a different part of toxic. That's a different part of hatred. That's a different part of being mentally challenged um, within your soul because you settle. Come on, somebody. I just want to, have this conversation and give us a chance to really explore what it is, how it is for us as a people, because we come into these situations and, like I said, yeah, if you went into it because, I don't know, the sex was good with her, the sex was good with him, that's the physical aspect, right? And you went with it, and it was, what it was for the time. Hey, who am I? I ain't got nothing to say. That's your story. I'm gonna let you tell it. Um, and then we have the reality that, you went into something and it was a financial gain, either for you, the woman, or him, the guy, right? There was some stability, or there was some short term, goals and situations that, seemed to look like they were going to help. And that's cool. You know, um, these things happen. See, the whole thing is, I think a lot of us are not paying attention, um, with our ears to hear that as a human being, things happen, right? So you're not wrong. There's no right to it. There is it working for you? How dangerous it is to settle for love. Does that work for you? In the fact that, Brother Jerome, blessings, Pastor, I see you. Um, does it resonate with you that the mental health of it that goes bad long term is okay with you, right? Does it resonate with you that the emotional toll takes on this new thing and it becomes toxic, and hate becomes what it is, and dislike and discord, and none of the conversation is where it needs to be? Come on, somebody. Because there's a blockage. Come on, there's a blockage in you because you settle. See, when we settle, some other things happen inside of our minds and inside of our bodies that keep us from really going and understanding the next step. Come on, somebody. And so I need us to take 2 seconds and yes, blessings, beloved, and see, is it possible? Is it realistic to settle for love? Because you have to say to yourself, how dangerous is it to settle for love? And these are the dangers, right? And so I want to be clear, with the audience, that I'm not saying right or wrong for anybody, right? My sound advice is to allow you and me to talk about what it was, the barriers, you know, that led you to feeling like it was all right to settle, and then the effects of what you did, right? Because I think that's realistic. The effects of settling, were they beneficial to you? Were they worth it? Right? Because again, who knows? You could have been into the physical aspect, you could have been into the monetary aspect of settling for love, and that was enough for you to say, yeah, I need that, and or I want this, and but not really being truthful with yourself, right? Because love is a thing that touches all pieces, the mind, body, spirit, soul. And so if you just appease one part for a reason that's not really strong, I think that's where your problem comes in. Because if you appease a part, right, and you don't get to the other parts, but the reason why you're appeasing that part makes the whole world of difference, the whole world of sense, then I guess you got what you need. Johnny Cash, blessings, beloved. Thank you for tuning in, baby. And I think that's the part that I want people to pick up in this conversation, that I'm not here to say that you're right or wrong. No one's here to call you silly, stupid, and all those ignorant things that we do to each other as human beings. What I want you to know is, take it in how dangerous it is to settle for love, and then begin to cross-examine yourself, cross-examine the mental part, cross-examine, the physical part, cross-examine the monetary part, cross-examine the emotional part, cross-examine the spiritual part for yourself. Some people are not dealing with their spiritual selves at this time in their lives. Hey, you get to it when you get to it. But I know those other parts are pieces that they see, right? Some people are not even dealing with themselves emotionally. It's just cause and react that people are doing things, and so that's how they're doing it. Blessings, beloved. How we doing? We got a caller on. What's how we doing? What's going on? We working with these different things here. How we doing there, beloved? You're on the line, caller. What's going on, caller?
Thank you. Trying to get some advice, some good advice, some love advice, tied with, interconnected with the complications of multiple cultural, spiritual differences.
Well, that's that, brother. Whoo, you got a lot going on there. Cultural, spiritual. I mean, for me, like I said, for this show right here, how dangerous it is to settle for love. Do any of those things factor in for you settling, or the person you're dealing with settling? That brings out the culture part. You know what I'm saying? That brings out all the other parts that you mentioned just now.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. It's like, I think this woman that I'm talking to, I think where she's coming from, because she's like devout Muslim, and she thinks that she got all of the answers to her problems by following the Quran, but she's kind of not acknowledging just the human problems that could be right in front of her in the way she's going about finding love. Or I don't even know if she's looking for love, but I'm looking for love. I'm not just looking for a business relationship.
I mean, but that's a heavy conversation, and I say that because it's a conversation between y'all two, that she has to express what it is, because it sounds like she hasn't really expressed to the period what it is that she's expecting from the relationship, or what it is that she wants with a relationship, right? And so
no, she's very direct about it. She wants to be taken care of. She thinks that's like a man's job to take care of a woman, but she's a woman who's already been married, that got 4 kids, and that's a lot for any man looking at her. I'm like, you're advertising that outright, just trying to be a friend to her, be like, maybe you get to know a dude and then they fall in love with you and your family, that might work, but right off the grip, like, I got 4 kids, I want to be taken care of, I'm lazy, I'm this and that, the third, you're being very upfront, but I don't know what you're going to find that way.
Well, in that dialogue, all I can say, brother, is that you have to figure out, is that a conversation that you want to be a part of, in all honesty, because it seems from what you're saying that where she is and how she is not really something that you are willing to adapt to or want to adapt to in this time in your life, just from the conversation, the evidence that you presented to me. So I would say,
I'm definitely, I mean, I'm real as a heart attack, so I'm telling you straight up, like, that's not going to work for me. Like, we're not going to work out if that's the way it is. But, because I'm not hoping anything with her, even just hoping to clue her into, like, yeah, I don't know how you think that the world works, but yeah, you're gonna scare everybody. Even if there was a good man that might be interested in you, the way you're going about it is crazy.
Well, I mean, it seems like you done switch your cap from being her man to being her savior, and you know, if you expressed yourself,
I'm not.
you know that
I'm
that's
definitely not trying to save anybody. I'm just trying to be a good friend.
oh well, all right. From the
It's
friendship,
not like she's not. It's not like she's. Not like she's not nice people or something, but yeah, she's not. For me, from talking to her enough, yeah, that it seems like we're just so different, and the way we go about things is so different, and even the way we think about God or the universe is very different. But it doesn't make me right or her wrong or anything. But yeah, I don't. You know,
well, just from
I
what
don't.
you're saying, caller, I just feel like you got a lot of things that are different between the two of you, and not to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I just think you need to have more conversation. If you say that it's a friendship thing right now, and you're being a friend, you're lending an ear, and like you said, you straight up and down like 12 o'clock, and 6 o'clock on the dot. So you being forthright with love and just letting her know how you feel and how you see it, that's the best you can do, you know what I mean? So don't beat yourself up, you know what I mean? And walk away, from each conversation knowing that you tried. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, we have never even met in person before, so
Yeah.
we're gonna meet in person for the first time this coming weekend.
All right. Well, listen, you already
And
know
she's,
what you're in for.
but she's already like just from having conversation, texting me, where are you going? Who are you going with? Who's that driving? Who took the picture? Like I'm like, yo, what's up with you?
All right. You
We don't
gotta
even know.
you got a lot going on
We
with,
don't even know each other like that.
right. You got a lot going on with that. And that's not a bad thing. But again, a lot of times it's a point of us understanding, we entertain certain things as individuals, as grown folks. And so how much of it are you going to entertain before you make your stance, totally clear and plain in the situation? And likewise with her, what I mean? She's gonna have to, express, what she wants, from you, or is looking for from you, so you can, oblige her with your answer. And that's that. Because yeah, when you get into all that, that's a conundrum, and that can be a lot. You know what I
Not for
mean?
me.
Yeah, but
I
it's
mean,
still there.
I don't ask you. I don't ask you where you're going, who you're going with. Like, if you don't trust me, just say you don't trust me, and then there is no real basis for a relationship. But if
Right.
we're gonna even begin a friendship, I don't want to hear that.
Nah, I mean, like I said, brother, it's a situation where you seem to have your hand on the dial tone, with speaking with her to let her know that how you see it, how you feel about what she's bringing towards you, and to that, I always say communication is key. Being upfront is the major key, and you've done that. So just wait for the weekend to come in and see what it look like. Is that all right?
So definitely good advice.
Because anything else, that'll be me telling you what to do, and I'm not here for that. But what I will advise you to do is, all right, wait till you get the face to face with the young lady, and see how that vibes. Because sometimes we get a different vibe when we're in front of a person. You know what I mean? And all I can say is wait till then, and then take it to where it goes. Is that all right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if I didn't get a good vibe, in spite of all the red flags, no pun intended, uh, I would let her come this weekend and just chill with her friends and do my own thing. But yeah, I'll meet her in person and see see what's up.
Yeah, see how it fares. I appreciate you calling in, man. Look, pass it around with your people. take our little infomercial things and push it around if you don't mind. Repost us if you don't mind. All right, brother?
You know it. You know it. Keep up the good work. Thanks for your time, brother.
Man, I'm grateful to be here, man. Thank you, man. Stay blessed, and you know I'm always here, man.
Thank you. Have
Peace.
a great night.
Yes, you too, beloved. Yeah, that's a reality check. You know, some people have other things that they're working with. Big Brother House, I see you. Alyssa Randall, I see you. People have situations, and you know, it's not for us to, you know, go in and speak of what people should do, just more or less, you know, give them the encouragement of how they can look at it, hear it, or respond is realistic. You know what I mean? And that's what I intend to do with this hour where the audience has the power. 718-622-2674. 718-622-2674. And it's your boy the Prophet Bishop Kush. And we're out here. I'm on the steps, so I'm fighting the little things that come along because I got my lights out. But how dangerous it is to settle for love, you know? Something that you should be thinking about. I know you either have done it yourself, or you know somebody who's done it. And what does that look like? How does that feel? Have you ever thought about the ramifications from it? The mental aspect, that it's mental health that you're dealing with when it goes too far, and time wise, and you're not in a space where you're literally finding growth, because there's no growth there on one level or another, because you settle. And so that's becoming a fight within yourself. And like I said, the monetary aspect, if a lot of people have settled for love because there was money involved, they needed it, whatever their story was. I'm not here to push that, but then I know that that's a long-term effect. Emotionally, have you dealt with that? Because things become toxic after a while, and it seeps from the toxicity in your head into your heart. And then, we have all types of anger, we have all types of things that have put us in a place that, we can't come back from normally, when that person could have been a good friend, him or her, now they can't be, because look at the toxicity that is in you behind settling and looking at the person and being mad and getting upset because they really weren't what you wanted. They really weren't something that made you feel good inside your chest, not just in your eyes, because we look at things, you call it eye candy, but what did they do for your chest? What did they do for your heart? What did they do for your mind? Did they help you grow? Did they, smooth out, some of the rough times within your mental? And these are the things you have to think about, and it's funny because I was talking with a very, 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 very closest friend, and we were talking about some things. And what came to light to me was, I'm going to speak on the fact that you have primary and secondary emotions. Okay, primary and secondary emotions. The primary emotions are initial instinctive reactions to a situation. So that's what happens when, oh, I felt it, it hurt it. Now, secondary are emotions that are reactions to our primary, right? So, what did I do after I slapped myself? I realized that I shouldn't slap myself so hard. But we needed it to be real, right? And it's real time because it's live. So what happens is, a lot of us, because of our primary emotions, our initial instinctions and reactions to situations, believe it or not, that forces us into a situation where we're settling for love in this situation, right? Now, quite naturally, primary and secondary emotions, you could play that against anything: your job, your friends, going out, watching TV, painting your room, anything. I'm going to just use the primary and secondary emotions in this event of when we talk about settling for love and why it's so dangerous. Because in the primary, your instincts are what they are, the situation is what it is, and you want to try to get it right. You want to try to make a move. You want to try to ease the pain. You want to try to do all these things, right? And then once you go to do that, let's just say your secondary emotion becomes, you know, what you did in terms of you said yes to that person and you weren't supposed to, because your primary emotion was to get rid of whatever feeling you were feeling, possibly, um, to make a situation work for you that you don't think could have worked. But if you gave this person the, go ahead or the okay, um, they would help you, or they would be there for you, and you just wanted somebody to be there for you. Um, and in that secondary emotion is where it takes on a long term rent inside your head, inside your heart, inside your body, that you'll have to pay for later, that you will pay for later. I'm not going to say have to, because have to is a situation where, all right, but you will pay for it later. And so I say to you, be aware of your primary emotions, right? Which is your initial reaction to whatever you might be going through. I've always said this, and I guess I have to continue saying it. Pause, take 5 minutes, breathe, go talk to somebody. If you can't talk to somebody, talk to a tape recorder. Record yourself on your phone and just play it back so you can hear yourself in what you're thinking in real time. Is that okay? Because once you click into your secondary emotion, remember, that's the reaction, that's the actual movement, that's the actual getting intertwined into something that you are gonna really regret later. And everybody does. You're not going to be the only person that goes through this, but hopefully I'm speaking with you in a way that you will realize that you can move through it if you check yourself before it gets any worse. Because a lot of people are stuck in so many relationships that they really don't want to be in, or don't need to be in, because they settled, and they're making the other person, feel good on one hand, but then you're going to give them a horrible story later. Hello, somebody. You're going to give them a horrible story later, and you're going to crush their world. If it's a guy to a girl, if it's a girl to a guy, you're going to crush those people's world. And then you're going to have to carry that. And I think we spoke about that in the first show, whereas you overstay your welcome in a situation, and it was time to go because you knew it wasn't working. So these are some of the reasons why some things really don't work, because you're settling, and don't get me wrong, to see about something. Yes, brother. That's Johnny C. I see you, Johnny Cash. Yes, the impulse is what do it to us. Yes. The reality is, you gotta take 2 minutes. You gotta think. You gotta pause. And I know you may say to yourself, "This is killing me. I don't want to wait. I gotta get this done now." I urge you to realize, what are you really rushing for? What are you really, really rushing for? Because what got your name on it ain't going nowhere. It got your name on it. That's why when the old people used to say, "If you let something go, it come back, it's yours." Realize that you have to think just a little bit more, or you should think a little bit more, before we make these great, grandiose commitments to life, to people, to things. Because if you don't, the mess that's made can't be wiped up. Hello, somebody. The mess that's made cannot be wiped up at all. And This is where all the feuds come from. This is where the woman scorn stuff come from. This is where the guy don't care about y'all stuff come from. It comes from these places. It comes from these spaces. And so, yeah, like I said, I came up here with red flags, the Prophet B. Kush, to speak with my people and to let them know that I'm here to listen and urge them to, pause and think about some of these things before we make these moves, because my phone ain't jumping right now, but I know it's a lot of people out there that got issues. I speak to people all the time. I know y'all got issues. Watch this. You're human, so I know you got issues. My thing is, I'd rather talk to my people. There's people on the line. They know I'll talk to them in a heartbeat. Let's have this conversation amongst us, because you can identify with me. And so I hope that I was presenting myself in red flags in a space that allow people who can see ordinary people that can identify with these things. Come on, somebody. It's important, because if you speak to somebody and you're looking at them and you feel like, they can't help me. They don't know what it is. They don't know what's going on. Blessings, Maverick. I see you. Yeah, appreciate you. Really do. Um, at the end of the day, it makes it easier to have these conversations and get to a resolve in your situation when you got somebody that whom you feel like you can throw a few words at and get a few words back. you know um so that's why we're here. I'm not here to save the world. I'm here to help everyone that I can, however I can. Come on, somebody. So tonight, when we talk about how dangerous it is to settle for love, 718-622-2674, 718-622-2674. In case you want to call in and ask a question or just put one up, it's okay. I'm available either way. Um, I need us to keep in mind simple mental health. Keep in mind emotional stability. Keep in mind spiritual awareness, because all those things become combatants within yourself. The mental, the emotional, the spiritual is inside you, and no one else gets to see what's happening inside your head. No one gets to see what's happening inside your heart. No one gets to see what's happening inside your spirituality. But your actions later on dictate all that you're feeling, and it usually don't come out right. So I need us to consider beforehand, how dangerous it is to settle for love. Think, have conversations, speak to people. Some people like to pray. you know. I don't want to throw the Holy Ghost at everybody, right? But if you need to pray, that would be your best bet. But in your working up to that, speak to somebody. Speak to yourself if you have to. Record yourself, listen to yourself and what you're saying or what you're looking for, and see how it sounds coming back at you. Because a lot of times we think things and go to do things and never realize how those things are actually going to, you know, maturate in our lives. We're just sitting there pushing, but nobody's pausing to go, how did that look? How does that sound? How does that taste? Like when you're cooking food, you gotta taste the food. Settling for love is a situation that plagues us all as human beings. There's nobody right, there's nobody wrong. I see my love child. I see you, Tori. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. She makes me smile all day, every day. um, but settling for love can affect us all differently, but it affects us all. We've all had a boyfriend or girlfriend, in our life where we, went with it, but it really wasn't what we were supposed to have been doing. Could have been for anything. But as an adult, as a person living in 2025 that um, has more information readily available immediately, you have to take your time nowadays. Now more than ever. Yes, brother Jelly Johnny. Yes, yes. Yes, spiritual warfare is real and serious. Yes, it is, brother. Man, you know I love you, man. Miss you, brother. I miss you. I ain't get down that 95 yet, but I'm coming. Um, it is that spiritual warfare. And it starts within ourselves when we start to negate our responsibilities to ourselves. You have a responsibility to yourself mentally. You have a responsibility to yourself emotionally. You have a responsibility to yourself spiritually. We know you have a responsibility to yourself, financially and physically. If you don't do it right, you're gonna be broke. If you don't do it right, your body's not gonna be in shape. Um, Likewise with the mental health, likewise with the emotional stability, likewise with the spiritual awareness, of what circles you're moving in and out of, and who you giving yourself to, and how you giving out your love and things of that nature. As a child, as an adolescent, as a young person, male or female, of course you're not paying attention to that. You just living your life. That's okay. This is where you're learning. But as an adult, you have to take into consideration there's ramifications, always consequences and repercussions for how we lay down, how we, unify ourselves with different people, how we become one, how we intertwine. There are existential ramifications that do not disappear immediately, no matter how much you cry, no matter how much you go through what you're going through. Life takes its time, and it is a conundrum that does not disappear. So I say to us, how dangerous it is to settle for love. Take your time, take 5 minutes, pause, get the mental health together for yourself before it goes wrong. Because down the line, you're going to think some horrible things, and you're going to do some horrible things because of what you've been thinking. Hello, somebody, because you settled. So everything's not in order, everything's not a surefire. Emotional stability. You're going to be all over the place because you haven't thought about it, and now you're down the line, and you really don't care. Again, you're not in it the way you should be, so it's going crazy. Spiritual awareness. Now you're taking on all these things that you shouldn't be taking on. Hello, somebody, come on. You're taking on these things that you shouldn't be. Ooh, I'm getting out here like Bruce Lee. You're taking on these things that you shouldn't be taking on spiritually, in your body and all around you, because you've allowed this thing to be that should not be. Ooh, that touched me. Glory be to God. That touched me because it happens. It happens to the best of us. No one's better than the other one. You're human. So they say to err is human. That's how you know that you're human, because you messed up and things went the way they went. Okay, most often you can fix whatever went the way it went. Most often you fell into some doo-doo, you can get up, wash it off, right? You don't have to roll in it, right? So when we look at how dangerous it is to settle for love, why are we rolling in it? Because that's what happens at a particular point when we realize this is not really what I want. This is not really, I thought it was going to grow. I thought my love for her was going to grow. I thought my love for him was going to grow. I thought our understanding would come to a better point, and it didn't. So now you're rolling in the stuff. And I'm saying don't roll in it. Get up, take the shower, take the bath, change your clothes, throw those clothes out, don't wash them, um, and begin again, this time with acute awareness of your mental health, of the other person's mental health. Because if you probably can handle some of the stuff and the next person can't, so guess what? Now you're damaging that person. Dead wrong, you walking around hurting people. So we can only assume that you're a hurt individual, that you are physically, mentally, spiritually walking around hurting somebody else, when life isn't about hurting people. People get hurt, but it's not about hurting people. You're doing it willfully when you go in and you know it's not right, and you stay and you do the things that you do, and look up later going, all right, well, things happen. No, 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 don't do that. That ain't right. Don't do that. That ain't right. That ain't right. So I hope I encourage my people, my audience. Thank all y'all for tuning in, checking us out over here at Red Flags with the Prophet B Kush. I hope I encourage some people to speak to other people that they may see are settling, but act like don't nobody see what they're going through but them. Come on, somebody. That's usually what happens, right? People sit around like the roach on the wall. Can't nobody see me. But the reality is everybody sees you, and it's it's coming apart, it's looking bad. And I pray that people take the time to get their mental health together, get their emotional stability together, get their spiritual awareness in line, right? Because the physical and when we talk about the monumental aspect of it all, the monetary aspect of it all, you those are easier pieces because it's sold to you and how you accept or you do to manifest those things in your life. But when you talk about the mental and the emotional and the spiritual, those are inward situations. Hello, somebody. They're inward. So I encourage people to keep an eye out for the ones that you love. You're not out here to save the world. Neither am I. I'm doing this because I'm keeping an eye and an ear and a heart out for my people. And it makes me feel good. Come on, somebody, to share some or impart something that they know, but haven't faced because they feel they're the only ones in the situation. Yeah, it definitely is destined to fail, brother L. Chuck. It's destined to fail because nothing great can come of it. The only way that it succeeds is if the person who's doing it continuously keeps with the settling, which is shortchanging the other person, but more importantly, shortchanging themselves. Come on, somebody. Hello. You are shortchanging yourself to do that. You definitely shortchanging the other person, which is bad juju and all that good stuff. But shortchanging yourself, mm, you got to sleep with you at night. I pray that you have enough common sense to know that you should be, like the brother said a long, long time ago, a couple of hundred, maybe 1,000 years ago. He said, "To thy own self be true. To thy own self be true." You know, and that's real. That's very real, very realistic, very timely for the space that we're in. How dangerous it is to settle for love. Primary emotions got you reacting. Brother Charles, I see you. Blessings, beloved, blessings. Thank you for tuning in. Secondary emotions come in after that, and we got ourselves a buffet of scenarios and situations because it's all about what happens, the consequences and repercussions of these things, and what we chose or what we allowed. We spoke about that 2 shows back. Yes, fake is fake. Nobody wants to be in a relationship with the actor. Yeah, but they be acting. Oh my God. Denzel ain't got nothing on them. Denzel, Taraji P. Henson ain't got nothing on these people out here acting now. Oh my God. Mm-mm-mm. I had to leave. Yes, we spoke about that. Yes, brother Charles, hurt people definitely hurt people. And so what we want to do is encourage people to know that look inside yourself and weigh the mental health. Look inside yourself and look at the emotional stability or instability that's there. Look inside yourself and ponder the spiritual you know, awareness, of who you are, where you are, so that that phrase doesn't become the phrase that pays. You know what I mean? Hurt people, hurt people. Yes, they do, they do. And we hope that they get a moment of clarity, if we can say that, right? A moment of clarity. The truth is, most people don't like themselves, so they can't possibly love you. Girl, you better get that. Hey, y'all, that's my mini me right there. That's the truth. That's the truth. That's the that is the truth. Most people don't love themselves, and that's why I think we spoke about that on the other show. The fact that we're gonna do a show speaking about self, because right now people are walking around and they're not them true. They're so far away from their true self. They don't even know who they are. They just like a bee in the air, just running for nectar, but they don't have no clue on who they are. They have no awareness. They have no, you know, point of reference to what makes them tick, what makes the sun go around the earth. And we're not here to educate the re-educate the world, but we do want our audience to have this variety of understanding of different things that can make their life a little bit better. And I believe that getting to truly know yourself and check yourself for the things that allow you to live and be prosperous and be happy and be full of joy in this life is what I'm about, is what I want to give to my people, or they can only love you as much as they love themselves. The love definition doesn't match. That's 100% true. That's why in settling for love, we have to keep on the mental health of it all, because then we start moving in spaces that don't resonate realistically, but we're carrying them just to make our point. We're carrying them just to make what we think or we deem okay, all right. Or they can only love you as much as they love. Yes, chasing an image of what other people's thinking about. Yes. Oh man, y'all are hot to trot right now. This is the truth. Yes, brother Charles. You and my daughter hit it right on the head. That's the reality. Exquisite blessings. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. That's the reality, People are not paying attention, and they're running with the status quo. Everybody, especially in a new relationship, are pretending to be who they wish they were not. Ooh, you trying to slice bread out there, brother L? I see you. He said pretending to be who they wish they were, not who they are. And that's true too. Like coming to the table without the makeup. Come on, somebody. Coming to the table without 100 push-ups. Ooh, did I say it? Bang, bang, bang. Ooh, I think I said it. This is the real you without the makeup. This is the real you without, what's up, what's going on? You gotta come to the table and be expressive. And then, it's so crazy because y'all are just making me go crazy right now. Because so many do that. So many. And then you got the ones who do it, and it's like, whoa, that's flying over the next person's head that they're coming to them as who they are, because the other person is stuck on what they want to receive and what they want to do and how they want to do it, not paying attention to what the next person wants to do, or what the next person can do, or what the next person is willing to do. Woo, I tell you, boy, this is hot right here. Somebody throw some water on it. You heard? But that's reality. I thank you for chiming in, everybody who chimed in, because that is definitely where it's at. It doesn't happen unless you are comfortable with yourself. Back to self. We're always coming back to self, brother L. We're always coming back to self. That's why we have to put it out there. How dangerous it is to settle for love. And it's funny because when I thought about this, when this came to light, a good coworker of mine, she's my sister girl, Kelly. I'm gonna say Kelly Rowland. No, but Kelly, she had a post, and in her post, she wrote some things. And what I got out of what she wrote was this, and I hit it, and I told her immediately, "That's a show," because I don't hold back. I said, "That's a show." The sentiment of what she said, how she said it, and everything, and just the fact that she said it. I think it needed to be broadcasted. So what I did was I took it and I broadcasted it, and I let her know, give her copyright, that I broadcasted it, because I think it was something that was a now. Some things that we deal with in life can be a now scenario, right? Us talking about love, especially when we talk about red flags, settling for love. Ooh, ah man, the building is on fire. It's not a red flag no more. The building is on fire. And so, me having, enough awareness within myself to say, yeah, I'm gonna spark that conversation. I'm always give the conversation that I see that my people are dealing with, going through, and it's the masses. It's not just one or two. Quite a few people are dealing with the same things and just don't know it. Can we even agree on what love looks like? No, we can't do that. We can't do that, L. We cannot agree on what love looks like because it's always going to be different for everyone. And that's where the imbalance comes in at. You know, unfortunately, but fortunate because difference is the spice of life. So all of us, that's why they say beauty's in the eye of the beholder. What's good for the goose is good for the gander on certain days, and if you like it, I love it. I mean, what you might be in for, what your taste buds are into, what your eye candy is checking for, what your body resonation needs to feel, and it's repel. That's a given. That's not even that's not even. Nah, I don't think we're ever going to agree on that because it's too broad, too wide of a topic, realistically, to say that we can all agree on what love looks like in a definite situation. And that's okay. That's okay because even in that, we can work to just enjoy the difference. But is it a difference that you like? Is it a difference that you want? That's reality. You know, it's okay to have a difference, you know what I'm saying? But it's a difference that you like. I'm tall. I'm working with, a difference that's short now, shorter than me, and but I like it. You know what I mean? I love it, Um, and so yeah, you have to realize, is what you're dealing with what you like, what you love. Can you really wrap yourself in it? Is it okay? you know um is it more love than danger? Perhaps we can one day discuss green flags, like enjoying the difference. Yes. Yes, my sunshine. Yes, we're gonna do that too because it's a beautiful thing to recognize, consequences and repercussions, and what led to this and what could not have happened if we had done this, and things of that nature. I just want us to realize that it is a difference maker how we view things, how we approach things, definitely how we internalize things. Come on, somebody. You know, love isn't jealousy, love isn't hateful, love is wanting what you want for yourself, for your partner as well. Joyous, happy, and free. Yes, yes, brother. And watch this. That's a version. You know what I mean, brother Charles? That's a beautiful version of reality in in itself. None arguable about it. You know what I mean? Um, man, integrity. Integrity, for you to say what I want for myself, I gotta give my partner. My partner has to have, right? That's that's like you're just not gonna go wrong unless they hate you and hate everything about you, that they don't want what you got or what you want, because then you got that part of it. But no, to want that, to want to do that, to want to express that, to want to give love, to want to share the joy, finding what joy is. Come on, somebody, finding what joy is, looking at what joy really encompasses in your life. Red flags, the prophet BK Kush 718-622-2674. And remember, it's our primary emotions and secondary emotions that make a difference. Come on, somebody. It makes a difference. It makes such a big difference. We can feel how we want to feel at the end of the day, but how you reacted, your initial reaction to a situation, um, you know, and what you did beyond that as your secondary definitely is a big part of it. Because we keep forgetting that actions causes reactions. Whatever action happens, there's a reaction. The sun came up, there's going to be some things that happen from the sun coming up. The moon being its brightest, there's going to be some things happening from the moon being its brightest. And so for us to live this life believing that it's not about none of those things and nothing affects nothing, that's not a realistic way to view life. Come on, somebody. It's really not. And so I hope and pray that people within the sound of my voice begin to pause, take a few minutes, realize who they are, then begin to look for the integrity in what they do with other people. Because that puts the red flag in a position where we can say, okay, let's work towards this, let's work on this, or the building's going to burn, let's run this way. Come on, those are your choices. Are we going to work towards this? Are we going to work on it? Or is we going to let the building burn and we're going to get out the way? Because the red flag is there, caution, warning, something ain't right, something ain't sinking, something is, not where it needs to be or should be or could be or where we want it to be. There's so many variations on that. So, take that moment, take that time. And yes, let's do that. Let's pause, look, reflect, think. I'm often tell people, sit down, man, get a piece of paper and a pen, put your phone down and write it out. And write it out. Life is about every day you wake up, it's a risk. Yes, without question. No relationship is perfect. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No, you know what, Brother Charles? You're 100%. There is no relationship that is perfect. And so we know that we're not looking for perfection. We're looking for what settles or resonates within our hearts, within our minds, as another individual that you're connecting with. Because there's going to be things that happen. But if that connection is real, if that spiritual, that mental, that emotional connection is real, don't even have to have physical, don't even have to have monetary connections. Just the emotional, mental, and spiritual aspect is connected. You'll go through it all. You'll go through it, the sun, moon, and the stars. You'll be in a different stratosphere, and it'll be you too, and it'll be beautiful. And oh, glory be to God. This one lose their legs, that one break their back, this one lose an eye. It don't matter because the love is from the places where love resonates for eternity. But when you settle in, you don't get to do that. You don't get to enjoy that. You don't get to, feel the resignation of that. And that's where I feel bad for my people because they're shortchanging themselves on being happy, being truly joyful on the inside. That's right, brother. That's right, brother L. That's all we got. Hope. you know, um, and hope is real. Hope is real. Before you got that first pair of sneakers that you wanted, you hope that you got them. Yeah, even when you went to work and you got the money or you asked somebody to give you the money, you hope you went to the store and they had the size and the color that you wanted. It wasn't that you were going to get it, but you hoped and it worked out. Just love. Is it real? Yes, it's possible. Yeah, it is. It is. You get that. But you have to find it. You have to truly not look for it, but find it in an individual that you resonate with. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. Unconditional love, you and a person that resonates, so nothing tears you apart. You're good, you can make it work, you're gonna go through it all, you know. Um, but most people don't take the time, so I don't know where that leaves them or leads them to, so to speak. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that I can, really spark the conversation and pray someone, picks up on it and helps someone else to save their life, help someone else to get to a space or a place where, they can see a little better. Love means you will love them even if they make mistakes. Without question. The mistakes are mandatory. The mistakes are mandatory. I had a man tell me earlier, he said to me, brother Doc, he said, they shot until they ran out of bullets. They shot at us till they ran out of bullets. And he referenced it to I forgot the movie when what you call asked him what they're gonna do now because they ran out. Oh, the picture with Wesley Snipes and them from back in the day, with G Money and all of them, and what you call it ran out of bullets. And he said, well, what you gonna do now? And the mistakes are there to try you and show you how your love is with that other individual. Without those trials, without those mistakes, you're never going to know what you're working with. And how bad to find out years later. How bad to find out money later. How bad to find out health later. How bad to find out emotional tariffs later on your heart. How bad? You know what I mean? So if you can get those mistakes early, if you can get those situations, if you can check for the traps, as soon as possible, you'll know what you're made of. You'll know what you and that individual is made of, and you should have room for error. If there's no room for error, then I don't know. I don't think the earth is for you, because on the earth there's nothing but error. There's error everywhere you look. There's error, 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 error. It's error. So yes, you know, even if they make mistakes, the mistakes are okay because you didn't plan for them. They didn't plan for them. It's an honest situation, and it happened. All right, you know what? We can get past this, but yo, you have to pay for this. That was we just did a show about that. How much forgiveness is enough? I think that was the second or third show, but yeah, something that happens one time, something that happens, depending on what you're talking about and what we're dealing with, that we can reason with, we can speak about, we can manifest into a learning tool that we do better with in due time. Even if you break up, it doesn't mean you don't love. You may not want to be together, but the love doesn't fade, but it does change form. Yeah, it changes form. Real love doesn't go anywhere. Real love is what it is. But when you find out that it wasn't real love, that's a whole nother scenario, which is how dangerous it is to settle for love, because you don't know. You really don't know. I hope this show, like all other shows, inspires somebody to think a little different, move a little different, question or look or hear a little different. You've been with your boy, the Prophet B. Kush. Red flag 718-622-2674. Tuesdays, Thursdays, 10 to 11. Definitely you don't forget because it keeps you aware, but you do forgive, and you don't live in the not forgetting. Spiritual connection is key. Understanding things are going to happen, but we don't have to stay stuck on it, but look to better yourself. Yes, without question, that's the key. Like, because see, the whole thing is, you can't be stuck on it. You can't leave it where it's at. You got to go further, right, in order to grow. You have to put these things into play in order to be able to use what came your way to manifest, to see manifestation of something greater. You have to, or else, all right, you're done with this person. Next person is going to be the same thing if you don't give these times, these situations, a chance to see, to grow. Again, if you're in a situation where it's a repetitive nature for the other person or people, then yeah, you got to figure that out. Take 2 minutes and bust a move the left way. That's 100%. That's right. But I thank you, brother C, for coming in. Thank you, brother L, House, Maverick, Cash, my sunshine, Tori. Thank you, my beloved daughter, my firstborn, my beauty. Thank you, everyone, for chiming in. I really appreciate it. Spread it around if you can. Just share the post. Share the taping of tonight. Go on my page and just share it. This is your boy, the Prophet B. Kush. Red flags. The Colgate come out. I love you. Do what you do, but don't let it do you. Come on, somebody. It's real out here. It's real. And the better you begin to realize it for yourself and make better, choices and things of that nature, you'll enjoy life that much more, that much better. And I just want you to know I love you. I'm here for you, and let's do it. Let's do everything that we can be the way we can. Amen. Don't get stuck. Yeah. Love you. Annette, I'm sorry we're tuning out now. We were here. I love you. Thank you for tuning in. Catch the recap, but share it. Come on, somebody. Thank you, Charles. I really appreciate it, man. I really do, man. You touched your boy, man. You really did, man. You really did. Brother L, you already know, man. Too much, man. Too much. But I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. There we go, right there. Oh, man. What's that? Shauna Skits is watching. Oh, I'm sorry. Catch the recap. I wish you would have been here. Marvelous conversation tonight. Good night, everybody. Stay blessed.